You know the one who never blinks through chaos. Take the truth off late night cable. We grew up on static and midnight shows. MTV raised us, you already know. Latchkey hearts and wild-eyed dreams, feral minds tearing at the seams. You say it's too much to unpack, but I see your weight and I've got your back. Talk to me, I'm that Gen X friend. No judgment here, just truth and a Walkman blend. We screamed at the world, no one replied, but we danced through it all, yeah, we survived.
Good morning. Welcome back to that Gen X Friend podcast. Sorry, as usual, I haven't been sleeping well. It is what it is. So before I start, as usual, I want to give a shout out to MB Radio for this platform. Thank you for giving me a chance to share my 2 cents on stuff. I hope it's helping. So let's get to it. Right? I think that's going to be my transition from now on. So happy belated Valentine's Day. You know, it's such a big event. I saw stuff going up in stores soon after Christmas, which is just like, why are we expediting this process, dude? Can we just not enjoy one thing and give it time to enjoy the next? Anyways, I digress. So since I don't know about other countries, but especially the US makes it such a big deal, for sales. I wanted to explore this topic of love with everybody. Because love was in the air, or was it just seeing how much we can make or how much they can make? So as far as I know, now I do not know all the cultures in the world. There are many hidden cultures or less explored cultures that we just don't know about. But as far as I know, love is a universal concept. I think most people, I don't think it's far-reaching when I say this, no matter how remote a population is in the far reaches of the earth, that there is love, right? For any population to continue sustaining and existing, there has to be, I want to think that love exists. Of course, we all use different words to describe it. And we like to think, I've talked to some people in the past, when we say love, it's great to believe love, to want to feel it, to grow it. But in my opinion, most of us accept the concept of love on the face value. Like, oh yeah, love, the happy, fuzzy feeling that you get, love is in the air. Like everything's going great. It's unicorns, pooping rainbows, like the Care Bears. Maybe not the grouchy one, because there's always grouchy ones, right? But love, that's love. What? That's love. You know what love is. I'm not gonna quote Forrest Gump, but but he says even though he's dumb, he knows what love is. But what exactly is love, right? So being Gen X and being sarcastic and sassy, that's a much better way to say it, I guess. Um, let's just go to that song. What is love? I'm not going to use the entire lyrics, but don't hurt me no more. That I every time because I don't want to sing it. Like, when sometimes you think of a song, you can't just say the words because the music has been in like tattooed into your head. You kind of want to sing it. I don't want to sing it. Um, but I think all of us, whether you like the song or not, know of it, have heard of it, and probably seen it in a few movies. I think Night at Roxbury, was it? Were they doing the head nod over and over again? It's pretty funny. Anyways, but whether you like the song or not, that's a great line. What exactly is love? Because everybody, whether we think everybody accepts the definition of love with us, like we all have the same understanding of love. But do we really? Because people express it differently. Like, let's just use the Valentine's Day thing as an example. I mean, the stores push chocolate and flowers like it's going out of style, and cards and whatever. Is that love? Is it love if somebody gives somebody chocolates? Like, okay, I'll use Forrest Gump again. Like how he was giving Jenny chocolates, but obviously that's not how I felt love, because if you've seen the movie, part of the big struggle for her is that she didn't know what love was until much later, that we would like to think. But when she was young, she didn't know. So it wasn't expressed via a box of chocolates. But what if, let's say, using the same example of chocolates, you got an individual, doesn't matter gender, who really loves chocolates. But, things have been rough. And it's like making ends meet, paycheck to paycheck. So the idea of going out and splurging on a box of chocolates, I'm not even talking about, well, it could be any chocolate, but just say their loved one, their spouse, let's just say, despite of all the hardships, have been secretly saving up money, right? It doesn't matter how much it costs, because when you're thinking about which bill to pay, right, versus are we going to starve, it doesn't matter the amount of the money that's being spent. But just think about it on that line. What if the spouse went and found ways to save money for their spouse, because they knew that chocolate is like, just makes them happy, just and on Valentine's Day, full of love and full of just almost uncontained giddiness. They walk up to them like, Happy Valentine's Day, and they have their hands behind their back, and they just like, look, I got you some chocolates. Can you imagine how the receiver of that box of chocolates can feel love, not because it was chocolate, but it was done out of love, right? Because you can feel that. You can feel it. You can feel when somebody truly acts out of love. And I used the chocolates because it was just Valentine's Day um, as an example of the expression of love. Because not everybody loves chocolates, not everybody loves flowers. What if, you know, you like, I don't know, tools, right? So I don't see like Valentine's Day sales at Home Depot or down the tool aisle. I don't see it. But what if that's how you uh, feel love? Because or the individual who loves you knows that you love this stuff, right? And that stuff really, you want to do for others what they like, what they want, not based on your preference. Because you may like chocolates, and your partner might not. They might like tools. They might want to, I don't know, a lawnmower, right? So you don't go buy them chocolates when they want a lawnmower. That if you did buy them chocolates, they probably like, you don't know me at all. Do you really love me? I'm sure people have heard that, regardless of gender. Um, so in that is that I say the expression of love is as unique as the individual and also as the individual relationship, regardless of the type. Like if you bought your kid, um, I don't know, Legos instead of um, whatever they like. Maybe they love drawing, and you bought them Legos, and all they wanted was a paint set or a chemistry set. Like, what? But you're the one that loves Legos, So it doesn't matter the relationship. The expression of it is different. So it is not, the expression of love is helped by the outward expression with presents and so on and things that we do. But what exactly is love? Is love just purely hearts and, red and pink hearts, whatever, all these little fat chirps trying to shoot you with arrows so you fall in love, and every time you walk into the room of your beloved, you feel like, oh my god, that's love, it's beautiful, and unicorns are popping out of the ceilings, and pooping rainbows. Is that love? So why does love hurt sometimes? Does love encompass more than just universally, like, mm, very shallow expression of what we say love is? Or does it encompass so much more depth? Of course it does, than we typically want to express it in. When you love somebody, do you only want to create that warm and fuzzy feeling? Is that the only way? Is that really love though? Because we can say we do things in the name of love. I just want to make you happy, right? Let's use a parental love for this example. Yes, do we want our children to be happy? Heck yeah, because they're a lot easier to handle. They're happy. But when you say, oh, I just want to make them happy, I'll do whatever it takes to make them happy. Is that love? What happens, especially for Gen X? We got our asses, sorry. Well, it is a word. Sorry about the swearing. We got our butts whooped, you know? Stop crying or else I'm going to give you something really to cry about, right? That sort of thing. I'm not saying all of that was love, but some of it was. I mean, as children, we know. I didn't forget. I know I'm older. However, I didn't forget how willful I was as a child and how deliberately I did things just to make my parents mad, right? Now, how they handle it is a different thing. And their relationship and how they express love, that's a completely different thing also. However, as parents, when we want our children to be happy, and that's also a shallow term. Oh, I just want you to be happy. What does happiness mean? Happiness means there's boundaries. Happiness means, you know, but I digress. We're not going to go into happiness because that's another rabbit hole. We can crawl in and never ever come out. But for love, when I became a parent, I then started to understand the true meaning of love. Not romantic love, but the true meaning of love, the foundations in which I can say love really should be built on. Because I have had the fights with my son where he wanted to do something, and I know darn well if I let him, because that will make him happy, that I am not actually showing love. I'm enabling so I can disregard, right? And it's easy. It's easy to use love as an excuse. So to, I don't know, do the hard work and carry out the responsibility it takes to truly love someone, especially a child. And to be honest, we've always been most of us have experienced a relationship where one individual, whether it be you or me or whoever you're in a relationship with, they're acting like children. You're like, dude, I'll give you something to cry about, kind of thing, right? You want to whoop their butts because you're like, what? Why are you so hard-headed? This is not good for you. You need to stop. But from that, especially when we're encounter situations in the moment, and the individual you're confronting, because you love them and you want to help them and you want to help them course correct and not go down certain roads, not because it's your preference, that, you know, if it's preferences, like I want to wear red and you want me to wear pink. No. If it's preference, then you let the individual do whatever they want to do. Okay. That's love. However, if it's like, I smoked a lot when I was younger, a lot. Yeah. And I smoked after we would take PT tests, which, oh my God. Anyways, I digress. I wish somebody would have pulled me aside and had a serious conversation, right? Not the anti-smoking and the crazy, I mean, I don't think they were as effective as they could have been with all the lung, you know, when they show it, how lung cancer happens and whatever, right? But it wasn't on a personal level. I never had somebody who say that. I have been near people who have had issues with smoking, but I don't think I was too willful also, right? In doing what I'm going to do anyway. Fine, I'll die from smoking. And I said that before, which is terrible, right? But I never really actually had anybody sit down, not just once, not twice, be like, yeah, it's not a good idea. These are the things that can happen. You know, as young people, we think we are invincible. Nothing can hurt us. Oh, that's not going to happen to me. And that's a part of, just say, if you love somebody, the consistent effort in saying, yeah, no, maybe they're not going to change their mind right now. Maybe um, it might not be for a long, long time, but I'm going to be here consistently saying the same message with love, whether you like it or not, because I don't want to skirt around the issue to make you happy with me. I'm not here to entertain you and help you to be happy, because happiness truly comes from within. But being loved, right? Being loved and looking back at things, knowing that people were able to say some things to me, whether I liked it or not, whether I said, I hate you for saying that, you know, looking back, that was real love. That was real love expressed in a way where they went and did the difficult thing that may cause strife, that may cause arguments, that may cause an end of a relationship. But they loved, I could say me, or as an example, although I don't have those examples in my life, like for others, they have loved the other so much they're willing to chance it all to say what needed to be said, to be loving. So what is love? Don't hurt me no more. Love does hurt sometimes. Are you willing to walk away from something, from someone, because you love them so much, right? Because they have to go through their own processes. I did a podcast, I don't know when it was. I think it was titled "Everyone Has the Right to Mess Up Their Own Lives," and they do, and we do, and we've done it. I've done it, but it doesn't mean that as a loving presence in their life that we don't love them by saying things that might make them unhappy, that may make them in the relationship. Like many individuals who have relationships with addicts, that is a test of love. It is not an easy road because everybody's different, and depending on how far how they're willing to stand in their love for the addict. It can come to a point where the relationship has to end. It could be forever, it could be temporary, it could be anything, anytime in between, right? So, but does that mean that once the relationship is ended, they don't love them? Love is tricky. Love means potentially seeing these people fall on their faces over and over and over again. But because if you wanted to make them happy, or you felt sorry, that you took them back only to enable further self-destruction and further collective destruction, that's not love. That is a level of fear and insecurity where a lot of us would like to say, oh, well, but I love them. I want to live in that world too. To love them is to I don't know, to want to make them happy. But happiness isn't the goal, right? What if, what if drinking a fifth a day makes them happy? Would you love that? Would you allow it? Is that still love if you allowed it? That's a question that I try to explore all the time as I grew into my being a mom, right? My momhood, my friendship with people, I question now more and more exactly when I say I love you, when anybody says they love me, what exactly do they mean? What is love? What is love for them, for me? What is love for me to them? What does it mean to be truly loved by somebody? Does that mean they won't come and, you know, give you a good old shove towards down the right road? I would rather be offended severely. Let's just say offended, okay? Um, in the moment for my own good, even if it came to a huge blowout argument. But later I can, oh my God, later I can recall like that was love. That is real love. They love me enough to make me uncomfortable so I can see the truth. And they didn't give me the fake baloney unicorns and sunshine and chirps trying to shoot me with an arrow so I can fall in love. So my heart pounds out of, out of whack when I enter a room. Well, that could be fear, man. Fear disguised as love. And so love sort of, and it's understandable, and I've done it, to want to see love as this simplistic thing of feeling this overwhelming whatever it is. Sometimes love doesn't come in chocolate or boxes of chocolate or whatever you like. It comes in a harsh word. It comes in an ending, not necessarily ending, like, it comes just like a road. Sometimes the road ends, but there's other roads, right? So it comes at an ending, so there could be more road to be traveled, whether traveling with them or without them. But they were willing to love enough to do that. And, in the Bible, where the story was that a king, a case was brought to the king, I think, about two women arguing that one baby, that each of them were the true mom. And he came up with the fact that, with a solution, saying, okay, well, obviously, it doesn't matter what we say. Each of you will swear that you are the mom. So here's the solution. We'll just cut the baby in half, so each of you will have half a baby. Well, it's so clever. And so it showed, by doing so, it showed who the real mom was, because the real mom would never want to see that, to cut the baby in half. Come on, right? That she said, you know what? You just get baby to her, right? That's love. She was willing to give up her baby so the baby would be alive, rather than to just be stubborn in saying, yeah, that's my baby, and I don't care. I want my baby. And obviously, that is a love that is unselfish, that is provoked. That provoked her to act in extremes to show that. And I could only imagine, from a point of view of a mom, how much that would hurt. Without going, yeah, I have sort of personal experiences kind of like that, but without going into details, it doesn't matter. I felt that pain before. And that's love. And when we cartoonize love, when we draw it with heart shape expressions, without the edges, without the jagged edges, love really does come with. What is love? Is your expression of love really love? When taken in totality, the consequences of what an act of your act of love will develop in the other person. So love does hurt. Love can hurt, but it doesn't exclude it from being real love and true love, to be truly loved. Sometimes when I look out in the world and when all we collectively we use these surface on face value explanations of complex emotions, expressions, feelings, behaviors under the, oh, I just want to be happy, or I love you, or love, or any of these things. I feel that we are doing ourselves a disservice because to be truly loved means, to me, you can sit down and have a conversation that can be life-changing, relationship ending, but for the good of the other that you say you love. Not because you won't be hurt later, not because it doesn't feel like your heart is being ripped out in the process or long after, but for the expressing purely of love for the other. I think that's true love. I don't know. What do you guys think? You know, I know I this is a, of course, it's less than an hour, but I know it's kind of a lot in a little bit of time, but I want to bring sort of a, I don't know, challenge to me, to everyone who, thank you for listening, to explore what is love. What is love in your relationships? How do you express love? Is it from an intentional expression of love, or is it disguised as a, oh my God, it's so much easier when they're just let them do whatever? Because I've done it for the fear of having this terrible conversation. It could be an argument for whatever, for the nauseating effect that it has on you during the process or afterwards, where maybe you don't get out of bed for days, or you just, I don't know, you cry so much you look like you got punched in the face. I've done that too. Sometimes I still do. So Valentine's Day comes once a year, but love is always in the air, is it not? Don't wait till Valentine's Day. Be in love. Be in a place of love, even when it hurts. Because love isn't heart-shaped. It has edges. Sometimes very, very jagged. So, to conclude my latest 2 cents, I hope that you guys do know love and have that love, true love in your lives, because love comes from God and you are loved by God. I had to come a long way to be able to say that. Yeah. So until next time, here's the awkward part because, I had to click on these buttons to end the show. And usually it's like a weird pause. So until next time, I pray for you guys all the time. And just know that you are loved. Happy belated Valentine's Day. And go explore. What is love? Okay. Talk to you guys in 2 weeks.
Life is like a duck. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Here at Military Broadcast Radio, we're teaming up with our friends at Die Tired, the veteran-friendly music band spreading strength, resilience, and mental health awareness one shirt at a time.
And check this out. Their brand new shirts feature broadcast beaker right on the breast pocket. A reminder that you can weather the storm, and you're never alone.
Shirts are only $25, and proceeds support giving veterans a voice. MBR's mission to teach veterans how to podcast and videocast. Because when our vets are talking, they're not overthinking. They're not second-guessing. Together, we stop the 22 stigma. Grab your shirt today at mbradio.us and hit the shop. Or go directly to toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband. That's toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband.
Suit up, stand strong.
Remember, we're unduckable together.
You're built tougher than the storm.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.